Hi, I'm Richard Maraj, Senior Minister at Unity of Phoenix Spiritual Center, and I want to thank you for visiting our website and for tuning in to today's message. If you feel inspired by today's talk, I really encourage you to make a donation by hitting that button below and making a contribution to this ministry. It'll allow us to continue these messages online and to do the great work we do here at Unity of Phoenix, which is to inspire people to live better lives. So thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at a Sunday real soon.
Morning again, everyone, and welcome to everyone who tunes in online during the week. Special shout out to Angelica, who watches us in Sweden, and so vasenese. I don't know what that means either, but I think it's Swedish, and so it means blessings. So this morning at the first service, I didn't tell a joke, and someone actually complained, and so I'm actually in shock about that, but I'm going to tell them now, but you'll probably see why I was not going to tell any jokes. So here we go. What time does a duck wake up? At the quack of dawn. Okay. Did you hear the one about the guy who went into the library and asked the librarian for books on paranoia? And then she leaned into him and said, "They're right behind you." That was my favorite. And last one, did you hear about the new restaurant on the moon? Good food, no atmosphere. How's that? So how many people have ever gone to Costco and bought more and spent more than you needed or intended? Anybody? How many people admit that you have some piece of clothing or accessory or item where in your house where you have a ridiculously excessive amount of them? Ties, shoes, belts, jewelry, cars, houses, spouses, whatever it is. I bet there's some area we have an excess of something. And the final one is this. So how many people here have so much stuff in your house that at some point or currently you have a storage unit off of your house stuffed with stuff as well? Anybody have some of that? There is no question we all have a lot of stuff. There's a country song that says, "I like it, I love it, I want more of it." And apparently that's how we are with stuff. And it's pretty serious. Do you know one of the fastest growing industries in our U.S. economy is self-storage units? Last year, $39.5 billion with a B dollars us as Americans spent on storing our stuff. It's such a growing industry of us always wanting more and more that they project it'll grow significantly, continuously, at least for the next 5 years. There's nothing wrong with having stuff, but there's a threshold line that having so much stuff begins to drain our energy, distract our mind, cause us stress, and reduces our level of peace and reduces our level of joy. The very opposite of why we would get our stuff is actually happening in our lives. You know, today we wrap up a powerful 2-week series on Marie Kondo's fabulous book called The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And I love how bold, those are some bold promises. The life-changing magic of tidying up. And I love this book more than I thought I would have because of her conviction and passion and belief that if you tidy up and get things in order and declutter your life, things will change and improve for you. The quality of your life will get better. Here's what she says. A dramatic reorganization of the home causes correspondingly dramatic changes in lifestyle and perspective. If you follow this advice, you will dramatically reduce the volume of things you own, experience an exhilaration like you've never known before, and gain confidence in all areas of your life. Tidying is more than just about clothes. Tidying is a tool that'll shift and transform us and expand and open our lives to experience more joy and more fulfillment in all areas. Here's some of the principles she talks about. Number one is do it all at once. Make it an event that you commit to and complete it all at once. Sometimes we like to clean out stuff, in the spring or once in a while and periodically, but she's saying make it a committed, serious event if you're ready to change, and that dramatic change in how you organize your stuff and get rid of stuff will actually bring changes in your life. Second thing is do it category by category. We have stuff of different kinds in all kinds of different rooms. She's saying that do one category at a time, complete it, and then move on to the next and the next. She says first clothing, second books, third is papers, and fourth is mementos. And that when you complete it, it will actually create a system and make things better for you. And then the final thing is to discard first, not store. Most of us just want to go buy more storage tubs, and we're putting junk away or stuff we don't need, and sometimes we don't even know, and it's actually still clogging up. It's organized, but it is not really tidying up. It's just out of the way, and taking more and more space. And so, the two other things that are part of this process that I think are really neat is that she says, take all of your clothes from all the sources and all the areas and put it in one spot and have a real good look at it. You have to know what you have and be aware of what you have and how much you have if you're really going to make some changes and make a difference. You got to see it, that you got to face it, and you got to acknowledge our stuff, how much stuff we really have. Because sometimes we want to deny or we don't really know. Like, you ever have a closet that's so full that you didn't even want to go there? Is that what this is saying? It's more than just about tidying up. It's a life principle. If you want your life to get better, guess what? You got to face your stuff. You got to come to terms and acknowledge everything and what's really going on. Because sometimes, often in life, there are things we want to avoid, things we want to pretend, things we want to bury our heads about. Anybody ever have to have a tough conversation and it's something you really wanted to avoid, even when you know it was important? Sometimes we have so much stuff going on in life, it's overwhelming. We just pretend and just keep moving. But life will never get better unless we face and come to terms with what's really going on. She says this, getting rid of our clutter forces us to look at our inner states, to look at the inner clutter of things that we have not dealt with, that we don't deal with, things we haven't felt, and things that we haven't healed. And the only way life is ever going to get better is at some point we got to look at it. You got to face it. You got to deal with it. And the second thing she does is, when you've got it all there, take one item at a time and ask this simple but powerful question. Does this spark my joy? Does this spark my joy? I've been eliminating stuff, going through it and giving away guy. It's good, it's bad, it's old, it's worn out, all those things. But I'll tell you, pausing and holding each piece and saying, does this spark my joy, has literally transformed and deepened the experience of actually decluttering and getting organized. It seems like a simple question, but it is more profound because it takes it not only to a physical level, but to a mental level, an emotional level, and a spiritual level. Does this spark my joy? Let's say that together. Does this spark my... Take a deep breath. Say it again, slightly softer voice. Does this spark my joy? Deep breath. Again, does this spark my joy? That literally asking ourselves that question with every single item does something amazing. And I kept thinking, why is it so amazing? Because I found it very powerful. And here's the reason. Because joy is our nature. When babies are born, they call them a bundle of, and it says in Scripture, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. And it says in Philippians, when you're faced many trials, count it all joy. Jesus even said, I came that my joy might be in you and your joy may be complete. You know why I think that question is so powerful? Because it invites us to go deeper and to connect with our true nature. Go deeper and connect with the joy that's always been there and the joy that we all want to experience in our lives. It's a powerful, powerful question. So powerful a question. Here, I want to talk to you about the three things that it helps us do, that helps transform our lives and experience the magic of tidying up. The first thing that asking the question, does this spark my joy, is help us get to a place where we can discard or let go of those particular things. Letting go is not something we do particularly well in our culture. And there are two main reasons. Number one, holding on is something we mentally believe makes us safe. Holding on, like you ever get scared, you go, it's like we hold our breath. When we get scared, we tend to hold on because we want to feel safe. We don't want things to fall apart. We have this tendency of holding on. And then when it comes time to let go, we're afraid to let go, even give away our stuff. It's like, hey, no, I might need that one day. Yeah, I know I have two, but I have a second one just in case that one breaks. We have all kinds of excuses of why to not, because we have this tendency to want to hold on. And you know what's interesting? Sometimes we hold on to things that aren't even good for us. Things that we don't even like. Things that we don't even want. And yet we have this tendency. So it's not an easy thing to let go. The second reason that letting go is hard for us is we are captured by the idea that more is better. If you want a better life, it's I want more of this, more of that. We think that a better life is a matter of addition. If I just add more money or add more friends or add more of this, add more of that, life will get better. Addition equals a better life. Adding equals better. Now, letting go is tough because letting go is about subtracting. No one ever thinks, my life will get better if I just subtract a few things. No one ever says that. Because why? Subtraction means less. Subtraction means losing. Subtraction means something is being taken away from me. Subtraction equals depleting. So can you see why it's a little tough for us to let go? But here, invite this question in. Does this spark my joy? Then suddenly, it's not a white knuckling let go. It's a, hey, is this really right for me? Is this really going to give me greater joy? And if it doesn't, we just thank it and release it. That we don't have to feel guilty, we don't have to feel bad. The question invites us, if this doesn't bring me joy, why not release it and let it go? Why not free ourselves from it? And this is about clothes, and it's about a lot more than just clothes. Is this idea or this anger or whatever, does it spark my joy? And if it doesn't, we need to thank it and then release it. It is a powerful and important thing for us to learn how to let go. Have you heard of the Marie Kondo effect? She's got a Netflix. Anybody see her, any of the Netflix stuff? She got and do you know, immediately after, Goodwill Industries reported the donations increased by 32% in Washington, 22% in Houston, 20% in Roanoke, and 16% in Grand Rapids. So people are starting to get, hey, this letting go might be a good thing. The average person discards 20 to 30 45-liter bags of stuff. And she did a client that gave up 200 45-liter bags. So letting go is important. It liberates, it lightens, it brings peace, space, and clarity to us. Several years ago, they did a study on centurions, people who lived 100 years old, to be at least 100 years old. And they said, besides genetics, what are the things that have allowed you to live this long? And they were pretty happy people, and so really contributed to you being kind of happy at 100. And they said, number one was attitude, having a good positive attitude. Number two was socially connected. They had friends and people around. The other one was goals, something to look forward to. And the fourth one was their ability to let go. Their ability to release and move on and come to terms and grieve so they could continue on. You can imagine 100 years, there's a lot of stuff could build up in us and a lot of letting go needs. And the fact is, if we want to make progress, if we want to have peace, if we want to experience more joy, more freedom, and all the good things we want, letting go and learning how to let go is a powerful, important thing. And this one line, does this spark my joy, is a question that can help ease that process of releasing and letting go. So what do you need to let go? What isn't sparking your joy that you're still holding on to, that you need to now just thank it and release it? Second thing about this wonderful, magical line, does this spark my joy, is that every time we say yes, we are surrounding ourselves with good things that bring us joy. Could you imagine if your whole life you were surrounded by stuff that didn't bring you joy? And could you go to the opposite of seeing everything in your home and your life surrounding you with joy? things that make you smile, your clothes, your books, all your stuff that you feel supported and nurtured and cared for and safe and warm in your own home. To make that bold choice, does this spark my joy, ensures that you surround yourself with energy that's loving, that's supportive, that's caring. And it not only creates that energy around you by saying this question and following it, but it also creates space and an attracting energy that she says will transform, will bring something unrelated and magnificent into your life. Here are some of the things that some people said after taking her course. After your course, I quit my job and launched into my own business, something that I dreamed of doing ever since I was a child. This other one says, your course taught me to see what I really needed and what I didn't need. So I got a divorce, and I'm a lot happier now. I'm just reading what she wrote. I was finally able to shed the weight that I've been spending years struggling, letting go. Someone that I've been wanting to see, that I've been in touch with recently, got in touch with me. I am delighted to report that since cleaning my apartment, I have been able to really increase my income through more sales. You know, my husband and I are now getting along better than ever. Though she's talking about something spiritual here. So when she says, when you make a dramatic change on releasing this stuff in the physical, a corresponding dramatic change will be transformed in other areas of your life. That when we release all this stuff, we're releasing energy, things that were cluttering and congesting our lives. And when you free ourselves, guess what? It opens the track to a path and what? Things that bring us joy. Things that spark our joy. Because in life, you're either contracting or expanding. You're attracting or repelling. It's the law of attraction. It is the law of attraction. When you raise your vibration by choosing and being aware of all the things that be a joy and only allow those in your life, something magnificent and amazing and transformative will happen in your life. And the last thing about this magical question, does this spark my joy, is that it begins to give us confidence and connect us in a way we wouldn't realize. When you think about it, there are hundreds of items in our home. So for hundreds of times, we have to hold something and say, does this spark my joy? Well, you do that 300-400 times, guess what? It will hone your skills on tuning in on what it is you really want. Tuning in on what it is that really brings you joy. And that gives you a level of confidence in all areas after constantly making decisions and clarity, because most of us don't always know what we want. You know, most of us are sometimes disconnected from what it is we really want. We spend our lives so much trying to please people, you know, trying to have people's approval or trying to get them to validate us or to like us, that we act in ways that aren't always us. And sometimes we do it so much, we don't even know what we want. We don't even know what we like. And we don't even give ourselves permission to like what we like. But you ask that question, does this spark my joy 300, 400, 500 times? You will get more connected. You will feel more and more confident. Watched an episode of her show on Netflix, and it was about a lady who lost her husband of 40 years. It rocked her world. 40 years. And so this whole question of, does this bring me joy, really helped her heal and transform. So she said, let's start with your stuff and we'll get with your husband's stuff after. And then she realized, wow, I'm so accustomed to making collaborative decisions, it's hard for me to really realize what brings me joy. And they said he used to make a lot of decisions on other stuff, and so it's hard for me. And so she was struggling with this. But over time, in this new context suddenly of, grieving her husband and moving on, her having to ask herself the question over again, does this spark my joy, actually began to have her connect with herself again. Helped her in this new context rediscover and reinvent who she was, get clearer about what she wanted, really connecting with her heart's desires. And over the 1 month period, when it says all at once, it doesn't mean one day, it means just consecutively till you're done. Marie Kondo went to her house every day, and you could see this lady transform to the point she started owning herself, owning her talent, her beauty, her goals, and her dreams, and it was cool. So this question, does this spark my joy, not only gives us confidence and connection, but it can really help us even heal. and remember who we are. Sometimes we forget our beauty. Sometimes we forget our talent and our greatness. I love this. Does this spark my joy? Helps us reconnect with all the goodness and magnificence and helps us bring it out in greater ways. It is a powerful, transformative line. Does this spark my joy? We begin to trust our inner voice, trust our intuition, trust ourselves, and trust the greatness that's in us that we have not fully allowed ourselves to express, or talent, or ability, or dreams that are still in there. And asking this question begins to help us pull it out. Recognize it, acknowledge it, and begin to live it. This is a simple question, but it is life-changing and transformative because it goes from the physical to the mental to the emotional and to the spiritual, and it gets us to know who we really are. Tidying up isn't about mastering your stuff. It's about mastering yourself. It isn't about connecting with your things. It's about connecting with yourself and your soul and your true purpose for being here. Does it spark my joy? Helps us let go. Does it spark my joy? Attracts and keeps things around us that bring us joy, and it also brings confidence and connection with the truth of who we are. This one simple question, does this spark my joy? Truly, I believe, is the magic in tidying up. God bless you all.